Perth is ideally suited to the 15-minute city concept. We've got a very compact city here. There's no reason why we can't have people connected through sustainable means without having to clog up our city centre. And even when we do build, as we need to build homes for people if we want to attract new people to live here, then we can build those sustainably as well. So we can have mobility hubs that are fitted with electric charging points, electric cycle hire, access to public transport, instead of building our homes with car parking spaces. So I think we could become a model for that 15-minute city right here in Scotland.
We feel that wildflower seed mixes on the inches would be a big contributor to the pollinator project, and not only would it be good for pollinators, it would be good for people to come and see and their overall well-being from being at one with nature.
We could create character in Perth. We could give people who live on major arterial routes a specific indigenous tree species. So when you come down the Glasgow Road, everybody has an alder in the garden, and it would just create an unofficial welcome, but also a character that we can build around. As the heart of big tree country, that would be such a simple thing to do. You could make it fruit trees so people can walk around the city picking fruit and drive biodiversity that way. There's lots and lots of things we could do.
At the moment, the town centre doesn't cohesively work together. It doesn't stitch together, and the river's part of that. But how many buildings face onto the river? You know, where can you go and have a nice meal overlooking the river, but actually engage with the river? You can. And you know, that should be one of your main selling points. You've got a river flowing through it. A bunch of other places would bite your arm off for that.
The city centre really needs to be rethought, and properties need to be reclaimed so that smaller properties, possibly for first-time buyers, possibly for younger people, are made available so that people are living in the city centre, because only when a city centre is lived in is it vibrant. Otherwise, it shuts its doors at 5 o'clock.
Consumer confidence is a big aspect, and I think probably having more people living as well as working in the city centre, being able to move about maybe different modes of transport so we're not all so dependent on cars.
You want it to have an ambition as a town, you want it to have that sustainable environment, public transport very key to that, but you know, in a number of different ways. The other thing I'm so passionate about is connectivity. We need to make it really easy for people who live here to go somewhere else, and for those who live elsewhere to come here.
For me, Perth has its origins in wildlife and nature, thanks to the local areas and the river. So it seems fitting that there are ambitions for it to become the most sustainable small city in Europe. And I think having an employer such as SSE already brings the sustainability narrative into play. And although Perth is a small city, in my humble opinion, it is miles ahead of other cities thanks to its local environment.
Well, my aspirations are in all environmental elements of how we live. So fundamentally in low carbon technologies, clean technologies, resource circular economies, is to see Tayside, including Perth and Kinross, as perhaps the go-to place where our gifted academic networks, 4 of the best local authorities in Scotland, some extremely clever SMEs and some rather good big companies really drive forward on that agenda. And we start to demonstrate this challenge and how to deliver it to other parts of the UK and the world. And people come here because they want to be in the best place.
Key thing with design going forward is how you capture carbon. And it really does mean a different way of approaching design in respect of how you build a building or how you create a road. And I think the key things there are the building blocks of how you put it together. Your energy strategy is a big part of that. Orientation in terms of, if you look at a building, how it sits and is positioned. And then how you manage solar gain and natural ventilation. And I think these are the key constitutes of how you get sustainable design.
I think how we build out of COVID is a great opportunity to actually build back greener. I think we should use all of the potential funding that is likely to be available to recover from this to ensure that we absolutely minimise our environmental impact and absolutely maximise the opportunity to promote both awareness and change behaviours. There's plenty that we at Horsecross can do, and we're talking about that already. I'd love to put a solar array on the roof here, frankly, and aim for a zero net carbon emission building.
Perth could become more of a fair city, I think, by celebrating and working with the people that exist there already. Although communication isn't always best between them all, there's obviously conflicting priorities and things like that. To really embrace fairness, I think, in the fair city would mean bringing everybody together.
What we have through the Tay Cities regional deal and the projects that are coming forward is the opportunity to integrate a number of strategic projects around mobility, energy and place in order to deal with these challenges that we face, but to do that in a way that we create a living lab environment that enables us to create new economic opportunities by attracting investment based on the infrastructure and governance models we are looking for.
Digital communications is at the heart of everything that almost everybody does today. And with that comes, again, opportunity, whether it be developing digital skills, but also broadening the accessibility to that digital infrastructure and communication for everybody is part of a sustainable future. And by focusing on that now, we can change the future for our children, for generations to come.
The more people work to the same sets of solutions and the same ultimate vision, the more successful you're likely to be. Where we often fail is that people are all working to their own idea and ultimately accidentally pulling apart instead of coming together.
I think everybody understands that there's a real need for action and people want to, on an individual basis, to do something about this. And I think the role of cities, in particular small cities, to actually bring people together and make a real difference has never been as important as it is now.
Hopefully this conference will kickstart something which will make Perth in a few years' time the most sustainable small city in Europe, and people will be inviting us to their conferences to tell us about the success and the solutions that we've driven.
For any delegate at this event, please help build the future we want. Help shape it, help build it.
My name is Ellie Kirkland. I'm a 20-year-old geography student from Perthshire. I've lived my whole life on a farm near Methven and feel lucky to have grown up so close to nature and the beautiful landscapes that surround Perth. I volunteered at RSGS for a few years and been involved in several of their other fantastic initiatives, which is why I was so excited when I heard about this conference. I know this organisation follows through on their great ambitions and the huge impact we can make together. I'm delighted we've brought together leaders from across industry, local business and government, as well as our inspiring partners from across Europe. It's so important to me that a sustainable vision for the future of Perth unites and involves all members of our community. For my part, some of the key things I want to see in this plan include drastically reducing the volume and congestion of traffic in the city centre, encouraging more people to use public transport and making Perth much more bike-friendly. Also improving the sources and efficiency of our energy and heating in old buildings as well as new. Aiming to become a zero-waste city and making greater use of local produce and goods. And finally working with local farmers and estates to protect biodiversity, plant more trees and manage land sustainably. I'm passionate about averting the man-made climate crisis before it is too late, and embracing the opportunities and benefits of a sustainable future. I'm not naive, I know that this is going to be difficult, but the workshops and speeches today have surely given proof and profound inspiration that with commitment and hard work, a sustainable future is possible. I'm here to represent all young people across Perth and Kinross. Our generation is counting on you to safeguard our future, to lead the way for other small cities across the world, and to design a fair city in every sense of the word. I have to echo Bo's sentiment from this morning. Hot air and empty promises are useless. We need real change. I need you to go away from this conference and design a better, greener, fairer Perth. I'm so excited to see the plans you come up with.